Sarah, crossing her half-century milestone, had long believed that love had passed her by. On her birthday, an incessant rain poured, its monotonous drumming against the window filling her modest apartment. A single cupcake, sparsely decorated with one candle, awaited her on the kitchen table. Blowing it out, Sarah whispered a birthday wish to herself. No one was there to share the moment with her. Her parents had passed away long ago, and she had no siblings. Friends, engrossed in their own families, couldn't keep her company. Closing her eyes, Sarah made a wish that the next year wouldn't be so lonely. A sleepless night was filled with reflections on missed opportunities. In her youth, she dreamed of travel, love, and family, but instead, years flew by in office routines and caring for her parents. Life seemed to have become a closed loop: wake up, work, lonely dinner, and sleep. Yet somewhere deep inside, a timid voice whispered that all was not lost. A vow of change. The next morning, looking in the mirror, Sarah saw wrinkles around her eyes and gray hairs peeking through her chestnut locks. But in her reflection, she also saw the strength of a woman who had endured much. "Sarah, this isn't the end," she told herself. "You can change. You can live." That day, she made a promise to herself to try something new every month, accept invitations, meet people, and stop hiding from life. A book club meeting. A week later, at the local library, her attention was drawn to an announcement for a book club open to all ages. Her heart beat faster, but Sarah remembered her promise. On Saturday, wearing her best sweater, she went to the library. About 10 people gathered in the room, books in hand. Sarah felt as nervous as a first grader. A woman warmly greeted her. "You must be new?" "Yes," Sarah quietly replied. "My name is Sarah." "Welcome, Sarah." At that moment, she noticed him, Michael, a tall man with gray hair and kind blue eyes. He looked up from his book and smiled. His smile was genuine. Sarah sat beside him. After introductions, the discussion began. They were discussing a book about hope and second chances. At first, Sarah listened silently, but when it was her turn, Michael turned to her and said, "I would really love to hear your opinion." Something in his tone made her feel safe. She shared her thoughts, and Michael nodded thoughtfully. The first cup of coffee. After the meeting, Michael approached Sarah and suggested they get coffee at a nearby cafe. Her first thought was to decline, but she remembered her promise to say yes to life. "Yes," she replied with a smile. In the cozy cafe, they sat by the window, watching the rain. Michael mentioned he was glad she participated in the discussion and praised her thoughtful insights. Sarah felt her cheeks flush. They talked for 2 hours. Michael shared that he was a retired teacher who had lost his wife 5 years ago and that he too was lonely. Joining the book club was his way of meeting people. "I understand," Sarah quietly said. "I've been alone for a long time too." A silence hung in the air, but it wasn't awkward. It seemed two souls had found solace in a budding friendship. Growing closer, over several weeks, Michael and Sarah grew closer. They always sat next to each other at the book club, and afterward they would have coffee and talk. They discussed books and life. Michael shared memories of his childhood in a small town, his years of teaching, and his late wife, Anna. Sarah listened attentively, feeling honored by his trust. She told him about caring for her parents, about turning down dates, believing she was too old. Michael looked at her and said, "You're never too old for love, Sarah. Never." One sunny day, Michael invited Sarah for a walk in the park. The air was filled with the scent of flowers, and children's laughter could be heard in the distance. They walked slowly, side by side. At one point, Michael took her hand. Sarah's heart beat faster. "Is everything all right?" he asked gently. "Yes," she whispered. She hadn't held anyone's hand in many years. It felt warm, safe, and right. Dinner at home weeks turned into months. One evening, Michael invited Sarah to dinner at his home. He cooked pasta and lit candles. Soft music played in the room. "This is beautiful," Sarah said, looking around. Michael smiled shyly. "I wanted to make this evening special." Over dinner, they shared laughter and stories. At the end of the evening, as he walked Sarah to the door, Michael asked, "Sarah, may I see you again? Not just as a friend." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes. "Yes, Michael, I would like that. Yes, Michael, I truly wish for this," she whispered in response to his proposal, opening a new chapter of her life, full of hope and romance. Love blossomed between them like a spring flood. A new chapter. From that memorable day, they became inseparable companions. Joint trips out of town, cozy evenings, watching movies, and reading books together filled her life with new colors. She felt the taste of life again, felt the blood coursing through her veins. One day, sitting by a quiet lake and admiring a crimson sunset, they shared a touching moment of revelation. Michael gently took her hands in his and said, "Sarah, I never thought that at my age one could experience such a strong feeling again, but I've fallen in love with you. I love you with all my heart." Tears welled up in her eyes, reflecting the depth of her own feelings. "I love you too, Michael," she replied, her voice filled with sincere tenderness. The wedding. A wedding was a natural continuation of their romance. A year later, they decided to tie the knot. Opting for a modest ceremony with only their closest friends and relatives, they forewent a lavish celebration. Sarah chose an elegant cream-colored dress, and Michael wore a smart, dark blue suit. As she walked down the aisle, he looked at her with admiration, tears glistening in his eyes. "You look stunning," he whispered when she reached him. "I've never been happier," she quietly replied, her heart overflowing with joy. Exchanging vows of fidelity, they promised to love and support each other for the rest of their days. Life after 50. This new stage in life after 50 opened up amazing prospects for Sarah. Today, every morning, she wakes up beside the man she loves, filled with deep gratitude. Shared breakfasts, leisurely walks, and genuine laughter have become an integral part of their daily lives. They even started traveling, fulfilling her long-held dream. Sarah used to think that life ended after 50. Now she understands that it's just beginning. The moral. The moral of this story is simple and inspiring. Love knows no age. It's never too late to start over, find happiness, and open your heart to new feelings. Life's most precious gifts often arrive when you least expect them.